Hello, my name is Connie Davis, and I'm glad to be with you today to give you a brief introduction to the United States Black Heritage Project. I'm joining you from the traditional ancestral unceded territory of the Stalo and Lecomic people. I'm located in Hope, British Columbia, Canada. I'm a volunteer for the U.S. Black Heritage Project. First of all, a few words about WikiTree. WikiTree started in 2008 as a user-built collaborative tree. WikiTree genealogists sign the honor code, which can be summarized by saying WikiTree values accuracy, which is based on source citations, collaboration, and connection. The tree is constantly growing and improving. Joining WikiTree is free and provides you with the best tools within WikiTree for genealogy. After you've joined WikiTree, you will find that there are many helpful how-to pages and videos to learn how to collaborate on WikiTree. Learning to use WikiTree is like learning anything new. You start slowly and build your knowledge over time. The U.S. Black Heritage Project collects information and resources with the goal of building a database of connected African American families and honoring their history. I'm going to walk you through the U.S. Black Heritage Project from two perspectives. The first is for someone looking for enslaved ancestors. Then I will talk about what to do if you have information that could help people find their enslaved ancestors. If you're looking for enslaved ancestors, you can start by just searching WikiTree. But again, joining WikiTree gives you the best access to tools and resources. One place to start is the How to Find Enslaved Ancestors page. It provides an overview, tips, and links to resources for anyone researching enslaved ancestors, as well as some WikiTree specific information. You can search for any of your ancestors using the search person from the main WikiTree search page. This is the view for WikiTree members. You can use any known or suspected surnames. You can search for enslavers by surname, whether known or suspected. If you know location, you can use this field for search any text. Let's start by searching for a name. I'm going to type it in the box here. Dicey Benahan. Oh, here we go. Here's a Dicey Benahan born in 1844 in Wake County, North Carolina. Let's click on that one. If this were your ancestor, you would be seeing a profile of Dicey. Some very important things to note about this profile is this yellow or gold box here. This is a banner, and this explains to you about Dicey's last name at birth. The last name at birth is what WikiTree bases profiles on, so that's very important. The last name at birth for someone who's been enslaved is considered the name of their enslaver, their last enslaver. And this is to help people find them. And this can be changed at any time when their true name is known. There's also a sticker here with these silhouettes that lets you know that Dicey Benahan is part of the U.S. Black Heritage Project. You can see here that Dicey's mother is named both in this box here and down here. So you can click on that and read about Dicey's mother. And you can find that she was enslaved on a plantation and who the owner of the plantation was. If you click here on the plantation, you find out a lot more about Dicey. Oh, I forgot to show you that there's always a source for every profile. And this source here is some papers at the University Library in University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. So let's go to that plantation where you can read more about the conditions where that Dicey lived, and you can find out more about this plantation. And looking at this record, you find that this was a large plantation with many enslaved people, and that it was part of a complex of the Benahan Cameron plantations, which there are many of. So you could find a lot of information about Dicey's history. Let's say you only knew a location. Again, on this search page, you can search for any text. And let's say you wanted to search for Edgecombe County slaves. Now, a word about terminology. The word slave is currently used in WikiTree because that is a term that's found in search engines. And this terminology will change over time. So you will see the terminology slave and slave owner for that purpose. So if we go to that search page, you'll find there's a couple things that are just in general about the history of slavery, not on WikiTree. Below this line is the WikiTree information. Edgecombe County, North Carolina slaves. If you search this, you could see the profiles for anyone who is categorized under this. So this would be people enslaved in Edgecombe County, North Carolina. The list isn't very big right now because this is a volunteer effort. And as more profiles are created and join and are cataloged or categorized appropriately on WikiTree, they will show up here. You could do the same search for slave owners and go back to that search box. If you don't find any of your family on WikiTree and you've joined WikiTree, one of the programs you can join is the Family Builder page, and you can work with the Family Builder who will help you build your family tree and add it. This might attract other people who know stories or information or have documents about your family. To join the Family Builder program, you'll need to complete the request form, and volunteers will work with you when your application comes up in the queue. Let's go to the second situation. If you have information from your enslaved ancestor, or you want to help people find their enslaved ancestors through the U.S. Black Heritage Project, the best way to start is by joining WikiTree and then joining the U.S. Black Heritage Project. Once you're familiar with WikiTree, review the information here and join the project. You'll be responding to a post on the G2G, which stands for Genealogist to Genealogist forum. Another thing to consider is to start with the Pathways program. You will work with a mentor to learn how to create profiles and pages for the U.S. Black Heritage Project. This will teach you how to create a profile that will be found in the search page that we just saw. I completed this program earlier in this year, and I appreciate everything I learned and the volunteers who guided me. If you'd like to help with or have information about large groups of enslaved people documented together, join the U.S. Black Heritage Exchange Slavery Projects team. For example, if your ancestor had a plantation with more than 40 enslaved people, you could work with the plantations team to enter that information. As you can see, the Slavery Projects team is organized to cover all the different projects they work on. If you click on plantations, you will see in the index of plantations that they are organized by state and then by plantation. If you're entering information from an enslaver ancestor, join the Profile Improvement team. I'm going to walk you through an entry for one of my enslaver ancestors. When I was researching my 3 times great-grandfather, Thomas Adam Walker, I found many documents with him in relation to the enslaved people that he owned. One of them was a bill of sale from 1857 that involved an enslaved woman named Mary Jane. Thomas sold Mary Jane to another of my 3 times great-grandfathers, Holloway Key. They were in-laws. I wanted Mary Jane's descendants to be able to find her. 1857 isn't that far from 1870 when she is hopefully found in the census. So what I did is on Thomas's profile that you see here, you'll see that there's a table of contents that shows you that he's linked to enslaved people. There's also the sources and the acknowledgements. And one thing to note about this profile is that I'm not the manager. So this is an example of collaboration. This is one of my distant relatives whom I've never met. We collaborate together to create this profile. And I wrote this biography for Thomas, and you can see these refer to source citations. These are links to other people mentioned in the profile. Scrolling down to 1857, this is where he sold 2 enslaved people, one Tilda Ann to Robert Hawthorne, and here's the one that I'm going to show you, Mary Jane to Holloway Key. Going down this profile, you'll see here's Mary Jane's name and a link to Mary Jane. In Mary Jane's profile, you'll see what you saw in Dicey's profile. Here's the banner letting you know that we don't know if this is Mary Jane's true name. It's names we hope that will help people find her. Here is the sticker that lets you know she's part of the Black Heritage Project. Here's the information I have about Mary Jane from the document. And here are the 2 people I know who enslaved her, my 2 3 times great-grandfathers. Here's the document, and this is a link to Family Search where you can create a link and actually go to that search page. If you belong to Family Search, you could see that for free. And here is the info source that where I know that by 1860 she no longer was enslaved by Holloway Key. Scrolling down to the bottom of the page, remember those categories? This is where they are. So this lets you know she needs her true last name. She needs to be connected to other members of her family. Right now, she's standing alone in the tree, and that she would appear in the category for Benton County, Tennessee slaves. I created this profile with just what I had from that one document, her approximate date of birth, and I know she was alive at least till 1857. Going back to Thomas Adam Walker, I want to show you what happens if there are lists of people in the slave schedule in the census. So I'm going to click on this. This is a page about the slaves of Thomas Adam Walker in the 1860 Benton County census. If I look at this group of enslaved people, I see there was a 30-year-old Black male, a 10-year-old female, a 9-year-old male, a 6-year-old female, and a 4-year-old female. This could be a family group. There may be someone out there searching just for this family group, and by having this page of them together, maybe someday people can be able to find them. Again, you could scroll down and find them within these categories. This has been a short introduction to the U.S. Black Heritage Project on WikiTree. I hope it's inspired you to find ways to connect African American families. I'd like to end with a quote from history professor Nancy Bristow. To avoid the difficult or painful subjects in the American past would be to foster a kind of historical erasure that is not only antithetical to our craft, but also harmful and dangerous to the nation's future. Thank you for joining me today.